press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello everyone, how are you? I hope that all are doing good, is it? So today I am going to start with the lesson which one the last class we are discussed about the famous, the great genius of the world. So that is the Albert Einstein. So a lesson that is truly beautiful mind. So it's a beautiful mind. Whose beautiful mind? Einstein's beautiful mind. So from this we can going to identify that what kind of qualities and the characters he had. Okay, so he's totally different kind of a person. Okay, and from the last class what we have seen that, so how the mother has said, how the way he is behaving, the headmaster has judged that he is never going to be success in his life, whatever the profession he is going to be select. Okay, so these kind of things he has avoided, he is neglected, because he is a creative mind, he is a creative thinking. Okay, and he is not like the regimentation of the school, the disciplined, the way that are following by the teachers, and he was fighting with the teachers about that regimentation. So see what kind of attitudes and behavior he has. Okay, so this is about the Albert Einstein. Now I am going to start with the paragraph in 1900. Okay, 1900, at the age of 21. The couple fell in love, so they both love each other. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with the tenderness. Wrote Einstein, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." So see what an interesting thing he has expressing his feeling to her friend, to her girlfriend. So why? Because they both love each other, and when he is write a letter, okay, to the Mary, he written something like this. So how he has written? He mixed the science with his emotion, like how he has written, how happy and proud. So he is saying about both the people, means about Believer Marek and also the Albert Einstein. So we are happy about, for what? So I shall be when we both have brought our work. I am happy for that day, that day, so about our work come into conclusion, because they are working in some of the they are having they are studying about something which is called the relativity. Okay, so it is based on the physics, the relativity, their theory of relativity. They both are working together for this, and now they are dreaming about, so when this theory of relativity is going to accept by the world, so that day is a victorious to our love and also for our work. So this is the intention to say from the words, and that words has written in a letter to Believer Marek. Okay, he not only wrote a letter to the Believer Marek, and he said about his work. Okay, so where these two people are having a research on the relativity. Okay, so this is next. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. Okay, so after getting a graduation at the age of 21, he was unemployed. There is no work for him. After get the graduation, he worked as a teaching assistant, gave up private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. Okay, so after he got the job. So where did he got the job? Where did he get the job? He get the job in teaching assistant. As a teaching assistant, he worked there, and he gave up private lessons. Okay, he gave lessons privately, and finally he secured the job in the year 1902 as a technical expert. Okay, as a technical expert, he has joined in a job. So the name of the job is Patent Office in Bern. Patent means a document which gives the rights of an invention to an inventor. So he is working for his invention. So he given a rights for his documents. Okay, so that invention becomes a legal authority. Okay, and he is working in that office, so which is situated in Bern. Bern is a place, which is in Germany. This Bern, which is situated in Germany. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. Okay, so while he was assessing, when he was assessing others' work, so he was developing his own inventions secretly. Okay, secretly he was developing his ideas. He said to have a jokingly called his desk drawer at the work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Okay, and he was good sense of humor also. He is saying that to the people that about his desk. So this desk is a Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Okay, Bureau means it is a work where it is called as secret work, where my desk and my things which is belongs here, so it is related to theoretical physics. Okay, theoretical physics. So it is called invention based on the modern physics. Theoretical physics, which is this is a kind of invention, so which is based on the modern physics. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which the time and distance are not absolute. Okay, so one of the papers, it has published that in the year 1905, that Einstein's special theory of relativity. So they have published about the Einstein's theory of relativity, special theory of relativity. So according to this theory, so what it is, to which the time and distance are not absolute. Okay, the time and the distance are not fixed. It is not absolute. It is changing. Okay, absolute. Then indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together. Again, after a journey, if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other, from this followed the world's most famous formula which describes the relations between mass and energy. Okay, so here there is an example given about his theory of relativity. So here he says that the time and the distance is not fixed, are not absolute. Okay, so they are not absolute, the time and distance. So how here is mentioning, if we keep two clocks in a, see, in English I am explaining a little bit about a science related to this topic. So when we keep in a moving, you can take a slide or a desk or something which is moving. Okay, when we keep here and here the clocks which is clock 1 and clock 2. Here we keep the clock 2. Okay, so when the clock is moving, when it moves, when it completes the journey, so here it says that these two clocks are not showing the exact time. So one is moving fast and another is moving slow. Okay, when it comes to when it is moving. So according to this theory, the Einstein conclude that so there is no absolute between the distance and time. There is no relation between. Okay, so there is a difference between the time and also the distance. Okay. Then, and here we got a formula called E is equal to mc square. With this theory of relativity, we have got the formula called E is equal to mc square. You know that. So E is called energy, then mass. E stands for energy, M stands for mass, and C for the speed of the light in a vacuum. Okay. So this theory has given a change in the world. Okay. The outlook of the science, the base of the science, it has changed from a olden type of scientific way to the new modern scientific way because of this invention of the Einstein. Okay, In this mathematical equation, E stands for energy, M for mass, and C for the speed of light. In a vacuum, about 3 lakhs kilometer per second. Okay, so according to this, we can measure the energy, the speed of the energy when it moves. Okay, so this is the invention about the Einstein has done. Okay, when you sit with the nice girl for 2 hours, so again he is explaining about the time. Okay, so he is mentioning about the time. It seems like 2 minutes. So when we are sit with the beautiful girl, it is not about the boys, it is about any person when we are sit and when we are having a good things with us, we are sit for 2 hours with those people. It seems like we have sat with those people for 2 minutes. Okay, and when we sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. Okay, so when we sit on a hot stove, something which is a hot, if we sit for a hot stove which is for 2 hours, it seems like 2 hours. So this is called relativity. Okay, so it is called, that's called as a relativity. It has said by Albert Einstein. Okay, how it has related. Okay, I hope that you all are enjoying this English and also the science concept. Okay, I am trying to reach that peak what has written here in the textbook, because it seems little it's called different things to understand English, because English almost we are enjoying with the imagination and also something like story, something like poet appreciation and all. But here we are appreciation about the work of Albert Einstein. Okay, so this kind of a lesson it is. So we are enjoying with the work of Albert Einstein, how he is a genius. Okay. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Okay, so after this invention, that is E is equal to mc square, that is theory of relativity. So he was solving so many problems, most difficulty problems in physics. So there are so many problems which is in the physics, because he loves the physics. So that's why he is solving the most problems which arises in the physics. His private life was unraveling. So no one knows what about his private life. Unraveling means, so here I will tell you, starting to fail. So in his private life, here he is working for a physics. Okay, he is solving the problems which arises in physics. So in another way, so there is a problem arises in his personal life. So what are the problems are? Albert had wanted to marry Mileva Wright after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. So what is the personal problem here? So Albert Einstein, he wanted to marry to Mileva Wright. Who was the Mileva Wright? So she was a fellow student and she was a girlfriend of Albert Einstein. So he wanted to marry to Mileva Wright. But the mother of Albert Einstein, she was opposed it. She was against this marriage. She thought Mileva was 3 years older than her son. She was 3 years older than her son. Who is thinking here? The mother was too old for him. She was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. So here I told you, while I am explaining, I said clever creature. So there is a word called clever creature, has said that, clever creature. The same intelligence she has what the Albert Einstein has. Okay, so they both are in a same journey. And the mother, whose mother? Albert Einstein's mother, she is worrying about the intelligence of Mileva Wright. Okay. But his mother was against it. She thought Mileva was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. She is a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. Okay, so she is like a book like you. she is like same character as what you have. So I don't think so your marriage is going to run for so many years. So this is the thought of the mother. So because of this reason, Albert Einstein was cancelled this marriage, okay, because her mother, his mother, she is not accepting this marriage. The pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons, okay. At last, after so many problems in both of their marriage, before the marriage, so they both are finally they got married, okay. They get married in the year 1903 and had 2 sons. But few years later, the marriage faltered, okay. So after some years, the marriage was faltered. Faltered means became weak, okay. There is no strong bondage between Albert Einstein and Mileva Maric. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife because she is intelligent. She is too much intelligent compared to Albert Einstein. So she lost her that ambition, that life's ambition, and she was become a housewife. So how unhappy housewife? She is unhappy with the Albert Einstein. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Okay, so they got divorced. So in the year 1919, Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. The same year, once again, Albert Einstein was married to his cousin, that is Elsa. The name of the cousin is Elsa. In the same year. Then, in the next paragraph, so you can see how his personal life. So there are complications in her life. So he wanted to marry to Mileva, then mother, she is not accepting. Later they were married, but then also after the marriage also the marriage was not successful. So again he get divorced. Then again he married to his cousin, that is Elsa. So his personal life is not good. So after seeing this, okay, is not good. Again he was married to Elsa. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to the world fame. So there is another new chapter begins, and that is coincided with the new chapter, that is new world fame, that gives a world famous. He become a world famous because of that new chapter. So what is the new chapter? In 1915 he had published his general theory of relativity. So in the year 1915 again there is a invention by the Albert Einstein. Okay, what is the name of the invention? That is general theory of relativity. It was published, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. So that theory of relativity, it is interpreting about the gravitational force. Okay, it says about the gravity. It was published in the year 1915. An eclipse of sun in the 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Okay, so here. Okay, an eclipse. So when there was a solar eclipse, okay, so he stated that according to this theory, he stated that the sun in 1919 brought proof. So that solar eclipse given the proof. So what the proof? That it was accurate, it is very exact. Okay, Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the exact to which the light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. Okay. So here says about a gravitational force. When there is a solar eclipse, so he is observed. It is an accurate, it is very exact one. His calculation is very exact. Okay. So he calculated that about the way the stars are there. So it is deflected. The star's light which is deflected changed the directions because it hit something. Okay. So when it reflected to some of the thing in the space, okay, that is changed its exact position. Okay, that is changed the directions. Its direction has changed when it hit to something. Okay, when the light it is going to reflect to something, the directions of the reflecting of light it is has changed. Okay, then would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspaper proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. So this gives one of the great name. He became a very great in the throughout the world, and the newspaper editors, they have published that. So this is a scientific revolution. It is one of a revolution. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. So, at last he receives the Nobel Prize for his work in the year 1921. So, here how the Nobel Prize he has got. So, what is the how the Nobel award it was started. So, this was the Nobel means there is a person called Alfred Nobel. Alfred Nobel was a man, he was a great Swedish scientist, okay. He was a great Swedish scientist. In the memory of this person, the name came out as an award, that is the Nobel, okay. And it becomes one of the important and prestigious award, okay. And based on this, so who are inventing new things in science or any other field, so those people are honored with the Nobel Prize, okay. Then, and after this we can come to know about he became a world famous because of his great work, because of his inventions. Okay, then he was showered with the honors and invitation from all over the world and lauded by the press. Lauded means praised by the press. Everywhere the medias and everywhere the name was going to be highlighted. He became famous. He became a great person. Okay, then all over the world there are he started receiving so many honors and invitations from all over the world. When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. Okay, so when the Nazi came to power in the Germany, so you know there was a world war. Okay, so World War First and World War Second. So when the Nazi came into power, who is the most dictator? That is the Adolf Hitler. So he was a dictator, belongs to Nazi party. So when this dictatorship was in ruling in the German, so it is in the power in the year 1933. Einstein emigrated to the United States. He was shifted to United States. Emigrated means a person who leaves his own country and he was shifted permanently to the other country. That is called emigrated. Okay. And 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Okay. After 5 years later, after this, he was shifted to America. So the discovery of nuclear fission. So someone has discovered the nuclear fission in Berlin. Had American physicists in an uproar. So they have some of the scientists. They have invented the nuclear fission, and because of that the American scientists, physicists, they were in angry. Uproar means in angry. They were in anger. Many of them very upset. They are very upset, not angry. They are very upset. Many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So those American physicists, they have fled from, they were moved from because of the fascism. Fascism means it is also dictatorial ruled, it is also concept of dictatorial, and it was started in Italy, and the leader of this fascism is the Mussolini. Okay, Mussolini. So he was related to fascism, and Adolf Hitler was related to Nazism. Okay, so this American physicists, they also afraid about the fascism, and they also moved to other places. And what the Einstein had done, the same thing has done by the scientist. And now they were afraid the Nazis also. And not only fascists, they are also afraid about the Nazis and use an atomic bomb. Okay, so because the Nazism, they had got the formula to how to make the atomic bombs. So now they are afraid that because the Nazis are very powerful, they wanted to rule all over the world. If they got that atomic bomb formulas, so they will, if they made that bombs, so the world is going to destroy. So they are afraid about that. Okay, the other scientists. And later, at the urging of the colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So his colleagues, Albert Einstein's colleagues, they are insisting that not to use those bombs during the wars, okay, to stop using those atomic bombs. So they were insisting to the Albert Einstein, and now Albert Einstein wrote a letter to the American president. The name of the American president at that time was Franklin D. Roosevelt. On August, he was written on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned. Albert Einstein was warned to the president, American president, that is Franklin D. Roosevelt. A single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. Okay, a single bomb is enough to destroy the port. Port means where they are dropping the bomb. Okay, and might well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. So not only the particular place is destroying, the surrounding place is also destroying, it is also affected too. Okay, so that explosion, because of that explosion, so the nearer territory is also destroying. His words did not fail to have an effect. So whatever he has wrote in the letter, so that has not given any effect to the president, American president. Now the Americans developed the atomic bomb in secret project of their own. Okay, so now Americans have developed the atomic bomb secretly. Okay, of their own project. That's become their own projects, and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. So they have dropped, yes, they have made the atomic bombs, and now they were dropped the bombs in the place of Japan. That is, the name of the cities are Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You know the history of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Because of the destruction, because of the bomb attack, that is nuclear attack, so lots of people were killed because of this attack, and even the people were struggle because of the land was destroyed. Okay, so land was destroyed, and after the destruction, so the people were suffered a lot because of the diseases. Okay, so like that, the side effect of the atomic bomb. So the world was shocked after this incident, after the Americans this deed, what they have done to the Japan. So the world was shocked. It is against to peace, okay, peace and democracy. Now, so at that period, the United Organization was established, okay, and now they were taking the strong rules for the all over the world. Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction. So not only the world was shaken, even the Einstein was also shaken. He was shocked in this because of this incident. And this destruction was huge. This time he wrote a public missive to the United Nations. Missive means a letter, especially long and official. He wrote a missive publicly to the United Nations. You know the United Nations organization, UNO. So the world organization, so they are working for the peace for the world. Okay. So he wrote a letter to the United Nations. In it, he proposed the formation. In that letter, he written like that. He written about the formation of the world government. So he written about the formation of the world government. The world government has to be created. Okay. So then, unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. Okay. So he not only written the letter to the Roosevelt, and he written to the United Nations also. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics. The two letters what he has wrote to the United Nations and Roosevelt, that was not got any impact. Okay, but after that incident, he joined into the politics. He got more involved in politics, agitating for an end to the arms build-up and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. Okay, so he was he was joined to the politics, and later he was worked with the other people. okay, with the other people, and he not only he used his intelligence, with that intelligence he made several campaigns, okay, for to bring a world peace, and also he was working for the democracy of the world, okay. Then when the Einstein died in the year 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as scientific genius, okay. So here it says here, when Einstein died in the year 1955, so when he was died in the year 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen. Visionary means a person who have a who can have a vision of future, okay. He can assume about the future. It's not assuming, it's about foresighted, okay. He can calculate about the future, okay. It is called as a predictor, okay, how the astrologers are predicting about one's future, like it is. He was a great visionary. He has the vision to predict about the world and predict about the work, okay, and also in science, okay. So this kind of a person he was, and world citizen as much as scientific genius, and he was called as a world citizen. So more than the scientist, later he called as a world citizen. He not only citizen for that particular country and that particular country, he is called as a world citizen, okay. He belongs to the world, not for the country, and more than the scientist. So he was recognized like this to the world. So now I hope that you all are understood this lesson very well. So it's all about a science and all about the invention of the Albert Einstein. It's a short biography of Einstein. I have not said all the work what the Einstein has done. It's about what it is important. That one it's written in the textbook. So you have to know very well about his work, because it's related to the science and physics, and this is also very important for the subject called the science, and also subject called science, okay. So I hope that you all are enjoyed this lesson very well, and you known about how the Albert Einstein was, okay, when he was born as a small kid, a baby, and when he was at the age of 2.5 years, and later how the mother was thought about him, okay. So then what about the work, and what about the aspects from his life, and what about the personal life, and what are the problems arises in his life, in his personal life, okay, and how he was came with his great invention, and how he became a genius, okay. Still we are recalling, still we are remembering, and still we are studying about his work, okay, and those work are helpful for to get to know more about the space, the time, okay, the light, okay, so which travels in the space, and also the galaxies, and which is helpful for to shift to the other planets, okay. So because of that, it becomes a base. His invention becomes a base to the scientist for the modern world, okay. So this is about the Albert Einstein. I hope that all are enjoyed it and understood it well, and I will give some of the questions for you. So from that you can write the questions, okay. So write the questions of your own with the understanding of this lesson. What did Einstein call his desk drawer at the patent office? Why? Okay, desk drawer, I told you, he is working secretly. So it is never disclosed to any person, okay. So here you have to write the answer for that. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt? So Franklin Roosevelt, he was a president of America. Some of the American scientists, or you can say American physicists, they have developed the atomic bomb, and they are ready to utilize, because they were fed up of the Nazis' dictatorship. So that's why they wanted to use for that World War, okay. So because of that, he wrote a letter to the President of America, that is Franklin Roosevelt. How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? So he was shocked, he was shaken, and again he was write a letter to the United Nations to form the world government. Okay. Then why does the world remember Einstein as a world citizen? Because he not refer this, I need to add some other sentence to these question for what. So why does the world remember Einstein as a world citizen? Okay, because of the humanist. He not only the scientist, and he is inventing a lot of things, and he is also working for the humanism, for the humanist. Okay, and he is also working for the peace of the world. Okay, so when we see that when he wrote a letter to the President Franklin Roosevelt, and also when he wrote a letter to the United Nations, from these two things we can conclude that he had a humanist quality. Okay, he was a kind. Okay, and he was joined to the United Nations, and he went into the politics. He was working for the peace of the world. Because of this, we can say that so Albert Einstein was not only the great scientist, he is also the humanist. Okay, so this is about the lesson and also the work of the Albert Einstein, how the Albert Einstein was. Okay, so I hope that all are enjoyed it and all are loved this lesson. Okay, so thank you all of you. Stay at home, study, stay at home, and keep learning. Thank you everyone.